Let's view a clip on Biztech Asian Midday Marketwatch, a discussion between host Brian Fernandez and guest Kelvin Wong, market strategist from CMC Markets, where he will share insights on regional markets performance, as well as discuss key issues and their impact on markets. Take a look.
The numbers relatively continue today. What's the reason for that?
Well, because overall, if you look at Asia as a whole, yeah, it's still pretty much bearish as a whole in general. Because number one, tonight later, or in fact, early this morning, Thursday, at around 2 a.m. and 2:30 p.m., we have the Fed FOMC meeting, which is pretty key. So later I'll discuss more about that. And also at later part of earlier this morning at 2:30 a.m., which is Fed Chair Powell's press conference, which is equally important as well, because right now, potentially he could actually give much more hawkish guidance. So later we can discuss more about that when we talk about this FOMC expectation. But what's interesting over here, we start to see a very clear outperformance on the China-related stock indices, which is the, as you flashed earlier, the Hang Seng Index, which is up close to about 1.2%, and the China benchmark index also up by a similar magnitude.
And that is probably because of some of the positive numbers that have come out this morning.
Yes. So let's take a look at this number. We're going to share a quick calendar. So what we could see over here is the industrial production of China actually surprised on the upside. So it actually recorded a growth in May, 0.7% year-on-year growth versus the previous month contraction of negative 2.9% year-on-year, and even surpassed expectation of a negative figure of negative 0.7. So what we could see over here is it actually indicates to us that, hey, that recent lockdown in Shanghai and Beijing, the choke point seems to be gets a bit of elevation, where a business activity starts to resume a bit of normalcy, and also on top of that, it could be possibly due to the this accommodative policy that's being enacted by China's state planners in the recent 1 to 2 months to actually address this contraction in economic growth that is pretty prevalent in China since the start of this year. But also bear in mind over here is that we can't be for certain that the China economic contraction is now at a potential inflection point where we start to see a major U-turn. Why? Because do not forget over here is that COVID-0 policy in China is here to stay, as being evidenced by last weekend, where we start to see kind of a minor restriction that's being placed in Beijing and Shanghai after a kind of a recent flare out in certain parts of these major cities that was actually being witnessed over the last weekend.